Hi, so I am definitely no expert on wax seals. This is only my second play with them. I had a very quick play the other night and I thought I'd have another go today. I've watched a couple of videos and I just thought I would film what I was doing so that you could see how I get along with my second go. So I chose this green and I put 5 beads in. With hindsight, that was definitely too many, but I just wanted to walk you through the process and show you how easy it is when you make a mistake just to melt it down and start again. So I let the wax melt. It takes around a minute and a half, and then poured it onto my silicone mat and without hesitation put the stamp on it. And you can see I wasn't happy with this one because there was a little bit too much wax on the left hand side. I'd like it to be a little bit more round, so just peeled it off my mat and put it straight back on the burner and left that to melt. And I've just used my tweezers there to stir it to make sure that everything was melted. So pouring it back in a pool onto my mat again, using not quite so much this time. And again, you just leave the stamp to press down using its own weight onto the wax. And this time again, wasn't happy. So once again, cutting it up and putting it back on the burner to try it again. And I think I do this one about 4 times before I'm happy. I'm not overly happy at looking at it now, but it's fine. So once again, melting it down, pouring it in a pool, using a tissue to wipe off the excess wax so it doesn't drip down under the spoon. Not that it matters terribly if it does, but it just makes a bit of a mess. And there we go. So I didn't pour quite enough on that one, so trying with what's left in the spoon to do a second one, but again, the second one wasn't quite big enough. So once again, just folding them up, tearing them up, putting them back to melt again. So there we go. So this time I decided that I'm going to try with the shaping ring. So put the ring on the mat and then I pour in the wax. Try not to pour too much in, and then using my tweezers just to scrape up the excess and adding the stamp, just leaving the weight to do the work. And then once it's been resting for a couple of seconds, I pull the ring off. But again, I put too much wax in. It gave a beautiful circle. I was really pleased with the circle, but it just left a little bit too high of a side on one side, so I melted that down. And this time I decided to add some white in. So I just added 1 bead of white and allowed that to melt. Didn't stir it at all, and then just poured it onto my mat. And again, removing that stamp. And look, it's a really nice impression, but I didn't really like the marbled look. So once again, tearing it up. And I shall give it a good mix this time to mix that white into that green. And it just creates a slightly different colour. So these beads are perfect for mixing your own colours if you don't have the colour that you want. Just have a play around and see what happens. So once again, a pool of wax, letting the stamp do its work. And there we go. And this is the one that I keep. Still not perfect, but it's fine. So I don't bother cleaning out the bowl. I just add 3 beads of blue. I've decided that blue is probably 3 is probably the right number. So just letting those melt in, and then I shall stir in that green so that it's a more solid colour. There is a little bit of the green still showing. It's slightly marbled, but it all adds to the effect. It looks nice. So again, just pouring that onto the mat. And because I haven't got too much wax in, I can turn the spoon over. That was Helen Ding's top tip. If you turn the spoon over, then the wax doesn't seep down the side and onto the bottom of your spoon. So trying now with a paler blue. Again, 3, just pouring it onto the mat, turning the spoon over to stop the dripping, and then letting the stamp do its work. They're quite heavy, these stamps. They're about 25 grams, so the weight is enough to push through into the wax. Now that one I wasn't happy with, so I'm just going to have another go. So just peeling it all off. I was a little bit too ambitious there. I pulled it off a little bit too early, but if you just leave the wax to dry a bit further, it's easy to pull off and add to the melting pot. So again, that's melted, pouring it onto the mat, adding the stamp, and I'm just using the camera stamp this time every time, and I'm happy with that one. So there are the 4 that I've just created. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That shows just how easy it is. So do give it a go. It's not an expensive hobby and it's so addictive. Thanks very much. Bye.